he is going to blow so many people away this season. I'm telling you. I was partially doubting if this could be the OG MIP season because last season he averaged 15.9. Can you really get a lot better than that? But my goodness, this guy can legitimately average 20 points per game this season. So we just watched the Raptors take down the Houston Rockets 107-92. It was an electrifying performance from the Toronto Raptors for the first, I would say, 2.5 quarters. Then near the end of the game, we started getting a lot of the guys that haven't been seeing as many minutes throughout the preseason so far. So it was nice to see lots of guys getting involved and ultimately the Raptors coming away with the victory. Lots of people were kind of freaking out on social media after the game. The Raptors were going to blow a fourth quarter lead. I mean, I was at the game. I never felt in doubt in any way whatsoever about what was going on in the game. And there was no way Nick Nurse was going to take those younger guys out of the game because, I mean, the whole point of it was we were trying to get younger guys involved. We were trying to get, if you haven't been seeing as many minutes, we were trying to get you those minutes and seeing what you could do in those minutes. Like somebody like Ishmael Wainwright, who has really struggled for minutes so far in preseason, came into this game, got 15 minutes near the end, and got himself a couple of three-pointers as well. It was nice to see Malachi Flynn at the end of the game get a little bit of confidence in him as well, but more on that stuff as we progress through the post-game show. But the first thing we want to look at is overall how the teams did, and when it comes to as the whole, the Raptors, they played pretty well. I mean, I think like the benchmark is to shoot 45% from the field, 35 from three. Houston shot 43 from the field and 30 from three or thereabouts. But the biggest thing was here. The Houston Rockets turned the ball over 30 times. 30 times. The Raptors turned the ball over 21 times. So it was Houston really being their own detriment for a lot of this game. And, I was there again, so I wasn't watching on TV, so because I was there. And it was really sloppy from Houston. A lot of that sloppiness did come in the latter parts of the game where a lot of the bench guys were on. But even early on, the Raptors were forcing their hand and getting those steals, moving it in transition, like really early in the game. I think in the first 6 minutes, OG had 2 steals, but he had forced a third. I don't know if he was credited with all 3 of those, but the Raptors were absolutely hounding this Houston Rockets team. A very youthful Houston Rockets team was a lot to work on. And let's go more into the individual side of the game. I just want to touch briefly on one of the Houston Rockets players. I was really interested in seeing how Alperen Şengün looked in this game because I'm a big fan of his. I was really hoping the Raptors would trade into the draft trade back into the draft to get him in the middle of the first round. But I can kind of see why they didn't because, he had 10 points and I think he looked sharp on offense. But what kind of escaped me a bit was his defense. And the Raptors were really picking on this guy. And this is definitely why he slipped down a little bit in the draft order. Every Raptor was looking for an ISO on Şengün because if you got him to the perimeter, he could do absolutely nothing about it. And there was one situation where OG Anunoby completely embarrassed this guy on the perimeter. Didn't hit his shot, but just completely embarrassed this guy. And I can see why there is the problem there. He's got to work on his lateral quickness. He's got to work on his defense. But going to the more entertaining part, we're going to where we see the Raptors and the player of the game for me. It's hard to go against OG Anunoby, but I think I'm a little bit tired of making him my player of the game. Precious Achiuwa was sensational. 7 for 11 from the field. 1 for 2 from 3, 17 points in only 19 minutes of work. He looked good on defense as well. That three-pointer he hit, I believe there was 18 seconds left on the shot clock as well. So this guy has no hesitation. He has all the confidence in the world. And I like that it seems the Raptors coaching staff have instilled that confidence within him to knock down those threes. So no hesitation, he's hitting those threes. But, we got to talk about OG Anunoby as well. 17 points, 5 for 10 from the field, only 17 minutes of work. I think he only played, I don't think he played after halftime, unless he might have played a little bit out of the half, but barely any work. 17 points, 3 for 6 from 3. And, this isn't just your catch and shoot OG Anunoby. This is taking you off the dribble, step back 3 OG Anunoby. He is, oh my God. He is going to blow so many people away this season. I'm telling you. I was partially doubting if this could be the OG MIP season because last season he averaged 15.9. Can you really get a lot better than that? But my goodness, this guy can legitimately average 20 points per game this season. The way he's playing, the way he's shooting, what he's doing on the court, how he's creating his own shots, like there's no weakness in his game. There's literally no weakness in his game right now. There's not one thing I think like that he needs to get better on. Just fine-tuning the shot IQ, the shot mechanics. This is oh my goodness. He's 24 years old. This could be a future all-star. That's how good he has been in preseason. Obviously, just preseason, but the signs that he's showing, sensational. Then we move to Scotty Barnes, 10 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds, 5 for 10 from the field. Scotty Barnes looks solid. This isn't a guy who's going to blow away you on the stat sheets, but he's a really good player. He looked really good yesterday, and I'm happy with the way he has been looking in preseason. Excited to see what he's going to do in the regular season. On the bench, again, there was a lot of guys who weren't getting as many minutes in other games who got time. Flynn got 17 minutes. Wainwright got 15. Decker got 12. I mean, wasn't really overly impressed by any of those guys. Mihailu came off the bench and was great again. Kem Birch came off the bench in his first game back. Wasn't his best. He's coming off of a bad case of the virus, and he's not 100%. So I will excuse him in his first preseason game. Malachi Flynn, interestingly, wasn't the first point guard off the bench. It was actually Delano Banton getting those backup point guard minutes. So that's going to be interesting to see as we start the season. I mean, Malachi Flynn, based on his play time, it looks like he could have a ticket to the G League here. I mean, he hasn't been great in preseason. Yesterday, he looked good because he played in the fourth quarter garbage time. He ended up with 15 points, 3 for 5 from 3. He hasn't looked great in preseason. He has got to work for the spot on the court because, again, he's amongst the land of the Giants here. He doesn't fit that, 6'8", 6'9" profile with large wingspan. He has to be better to earn himself a spot on this team. So that's going to be interesting how all of that develops. I also like that Bonga got some more minutes. He looked decent in spells, but ultimately I don't know if he's going to have enough to challenge for any sort of spot on the actual roster. I think Precious Achiuwa has profited from Kem Birch being out for health and safety protocols. Precious Achiuwa might actually just be the starter from day one because he fits the bill for what we need. I'm going to go in more on him because anytime he gets it off a defensive rebound, the bigs usually look for the point guard to outlet to. Precious Achiuwa, he plays point guard. He grabs the ball and he goes up the court. He's the ball handler. He's setting up plays. He's not going to take guys on the dribble as much, but he did. There were some situations where I'm thinking he's probably kicked this out here. He's a little bit far out of the paint and pulls off a move, gets himself to the rim, tough finish, and I'm like, oh, okay. And on top of all of those great things when it comes to his ball handling, the way he can sort of run an offense, the three-point game is coming. 1 for 2 in this game. But, man, I'm telling you, he has the green light to take these threes. He shot 32% from 3 in college. Precious Achiuwa is absolutely capable of being that shooter, that guy who can shoot on the outside and can space the floor for other players to slash on the interior. I think Precious Achiuwa is going to look extremely good when he's playing with Pascal Siakam because Achiuwa is going to spread the floor, and that's going to give Spicy P all that space on the inside. What hurt Pascal a lot last season was every center we had basically camped in the paint. That's where Pascal Siakam's got to do his work. So if we have a big who's spacing the floor, man, in transition as well, it's going to look sensational. But you really, really do see when you're at the game how the Raptors run their offense in terms of it is all very quick. Even off of makes, they get the ball in immediately and take off down the court. They don't want to give the defense any time to set up. And if it breaks down, they try to run like a 7-second offense. If it breaks down, cycle it back out to Fred, let him see if he can create something. Cycle it back out to Gary Trent, let him see if he can create something. Gary Trent, I thought, was a little bit more positive in this game than other games. Didn't shoot too much. Was limited, but didn't shoot too much, and that was nice. But the way we play, that 7-second offense, it's exciting. At the very least, you're going to beat down on teams like the Houston Rockets. But at the very least, even if we're losing games this season, because I don't think we're going to beat contenders, that's no secret. Even if we're losing games, this team is going to be exciting, and they're going to make it extremely difficult for any other team. I mean, the defense is absolutely locked down on occasion. Keeping the Rockets to 92 points here. I mean, a lot of their bench guys in, but still very nice to see the defense. And then moving it in transition right away, this is going to be a nightmare, an absolute nightmare for opposite teams to play against. And I am so excited to see the Raptors frustrate teams again, keep you under 100 and just work you to the bone in transition. You don't have any second to breathe against this team, whether you're playing offense, whether you're playing defense, and that is exactly what the Raptors mentality should be. And I'm very happy that Nick Nurse is, creating this sort of dynamic, and the front office is buying into it with the certain players that they are acquiring for this system. So what we look forward to tonight is the game against the Washington Wizards. Fred and OG are not playing tonight. Yuta Watanabe again is not playing tonight. It's going to be, honestly, it's going to be an ugly game. It's going to be a lot of those guys like Decker, like Wainwright, who haven't been getting many minutes, Bonga as well. Those guys are going to be at the forefront of the play time tonight because Nick Nurse just wants to see what they can do. Reggie Perry as well. So don't expect anything spectacular, but we will be watching along on the Twitch. Make sure you're checking that out with the link in the description, twitch.tv/amateursports. We're watching along every single Raptors game, unless I'm actually at the game. So if you want to improve your Raptors, a game watching experience with the best Raptors community on Twitch and probably on YouTube, what do you think? Make sure you're there for that. We have a lot of fun. We do a lot more than just watch the game. We do challenges as well. So I hope to see you guys there. But thank you for watching. Tune in tomorrow for the next post-game show.